So I realized I haven't shown any of my Eminem CDs yet, and I figured why not start with Curtain Call 2, because this is an absolutely fantastic CD. The presentation on this is some of the best that I've got. Like, honestly, I don't know if this is going to be topped, but this is excellent. Let's just look at it real quickly overall. You know, it looks pretty straightforward. You can obviously tell that there's a lot of things going on, but what you probably don't realize is just how much is packed into this little, front side right here. Let's just get into this. Now, rather than just pointing out all the references that are included on this, I'm going to ask if any of you can see the references that they've included in this cover art. I'll give you one just to give you the example, which is the kamikaze plane right there, but there are plenty of references throughout this whole cover art. Now, other than the references, you have some amazing work here, like the skyline in the background, the mask right there, with the chainsaw coming out of the curtain at that point. It's like every single inch of this cover art has something for design. It really is just incredible. Even the little spots, just little intricacies that add up and make an amazing piece of art. So much to look at. I think the weakest part of the CD case is just the siding right here. You got the numbers there, Eminem, Curtain Call 2. Nothing crazy, just the red Curtain Call font right there. Like, nothing crazy, but this is probably the weakest point, and it's not even that bad. Now, you open it up, and this is what it looks like. You can already tell the CD has some pretty cool artwork built into it. The paperwork on the side looks really interesting. But what you may not know is that this has 2 discs in it. And even this side has some artwork on the end right there. Like, they didn't just leave that blank or anything. They put some work into that, and that picture looks cool. But we'll get into that in a moment. Now, with this being a 2 CD case, unfortunately, they really couldn't do much for the backing of this. They had to, have the CD on the opposite side, so that's unfortunate. Which really just means this is one of those few times where they probably wanted to do something there, but they just couldn't because of the way it's packaged. They maybe could have put something between the two of them, but I don't know. I don't make these CD cases, so I don't know if that'd be possible to have inserted a picture behind each side, but I'm going to say that they probably couldn't. Now let's go ahead and look at the paperwork itself. Now you open up to the first page, and it's basically just some credits information and a picture of M on the left side there. Now on the next page you get more information about some of the songs. The unfortunate thing about this is that they don't have the lyrics on here, which I do really like seeing the lyrics, but at least they're giving information about each song, who worked on it, things like that. And then you have a picture of Eminem on the right hand side, which is nice to look at. And then it's pretty much the same thing across each one of the pages. I still would have really liked to have seen the lyrics, but with the amount of songs on this, I can kind of understand why they didn't put the lyrics in, because otherwise the paperwork might have been too thick. But on this next page is a pretty cool picture of Eminem with dog tags on, standing in front of the American flag. I like that picture a lot. And then the next page, I think this is probably the most fun picture of Eminem on this paperwork. Just a really cool picture. And then the next page. And the last page, with the classic photo of M's hand pose. And then some credits. And then the back side of the paperwork with the cool picture of the rose. Overall, really well done. I'm not a fan of the fact that they didn't put the lyrics in there, but I can understand, like I said, that the paperwork would probably be too thick. And then here's that picture that I briefly showed earlier. I like this one a lot because it makes me think of a reflection probe in Unreal Engine, which is really cool. But it's just so cool and so well done. And then the color scheme behind it is just awesome too. It's not just a blank background. It actually reflects the image, which is wicked cool. And then you have the back side of the case, which has the songs on disc 1 and disc 2 listed on it. Really cool. And then the fun artwork again, with a pinball machine going on in there. Similar to the front side, but like I said, this one has the pinball machine. I like this one a lot. Just a lot going for it. It's not over the top or anything like that. It works really well. I like it. And then some of my favorite songs on this are like Cinderella Man, Rap God, Won't Back Down. I enjoy Berserk. And then Not Afraid is probably my favorite just because it comes from my childhood. Also, Love the Way You Lie is a classic for me. And then for disc 2, I really enjoy Spacebound. That's probably my favorite for disc 2. There's some other good ones on there like Survival and Venom, but yeah, most of my favorites come from disc 1. Overall, this is one of the better CDs in terms of presentation that I have, and the music itself is just great, but really, really, really well done case overall.